I find it interesting that in your statement you say that we condemn the use of hate speeches and remarks by anybody, as the dignity of human persons must be respected at all times, even while dissenting on any issue.
Precisely.
Who are you talking to?
We're talking to everybody in Nigeria.
Not IPOB.
Plus IPOB. We don't support what IPOB, their leader and all those speeches he was making. Even though some
But you did not say that before now.
No, it's not true. If you check, we had a meeting, the Southeast senators, Ohaneze, and the Southeast governors a month before that. And we all came and did a communique in which we said we condemned in all entirety this use of uncouth and foul language. We said that. The point is really what we see, which is also the same type of profiling that we have. We do things, and there's a glossing over of whatever we do. We try to talk to the people who are doing the agitation to tell them to tamp down. And then we're told, oh, you're consulting with those who are doing agitations. And the point is this. If the Southeast Caucus meets with the IPOB members in order to find peace, would you now say that it is support? If the governors meet with IPOB, like they did twice or so, will you now say that they are supporting IPOB? No. You can't have peace without talking to the people who are also causing the disruption.
One last one before we move to, because all of this ties into, the general agitations in the country for restructuring and fairness and equity. Now we're saying that IPOB is suing the Chief of Army Staff and asking for the whereabouts of Nnamdi Kanu. But we did hear, I think it was the presidential spokesperson who said we should ask you.
One of the very, very unfortunate things here is that you come here, you try to personalize issues. When you don't have an answer, then you try to either abuse somebody or try to personalize it. So I wouldn't bother to talk about
you don't think any implications for that? You stood shorty for him.
Yes, I stood shorty for him. But now put it in perspective. He's supposed to appear in court on the 17th of October.
Which is a few days
Then
away.
1 month prior to his appearance in court, on the 14th of September, clearly 1 month before, the army now invaded his house, his father's house, his village, and since then nobody has heard from him. And then somebody comes here who sent the army there 1 month before. He didn't wait until he had his day in court. It was, if they had waited and then his day in court came and he didn't show up, then you can say, oh, we're looking for him. Somebody went 1 month earlier and all that. What do you expect would be the result of that invasion? So
you don't think you'll be held responsible anymore for his
why should I be? Well, the point really is, Mark, let me also pose this question to you and other Nigerians. He's supposed to be in court in a month's time. We show up today trying to grab him or whatever, or we don't know whether he's dead, or because I hear that they've gone to court seeking for his whereabouts. Would you now hold me liable for what is supposed to happen in 17 days or 18 days' time?
Interestingly, the Senate, when they resumed, went into an executive session. We do know that the Senate president had separate meetings with leaders of the Southeast Caucus and also leaders of the Northern Caucus, I believe. And then, when the Senate resumed, there was an executive session, unlike the House of Representatives, where it was more open. The Speaker spoke. Why do you think the Senate had to go into an executive session immediately upon resumption?
Usually we do executive sessions when there are matters of urgent importance, We build consensus. We talk with each other frankly. We now come out with a common position. That is why we are the Senate. That's why we are the upper chamber. We don't want to ventilate our discussions, which has to do with critical national issues, in public, because when you have the camera in front of somebody, they might want to go overboard, and when they go overboard, it inflames tempers and all that. So we try to reach and we reached a consensus, and that consensus, of course, we are in the three steps that the Senate President listed out. And the most critical one, of course, for us was the fact that the Senate will take all measures, all avenues to be able to bring peace and lasting peace to all parts of the country where there is agitation. The unfortunate thing, of course, is that because we're focusing on the Southeast, there it now looks as if that is where the agitations are. No, there's agitations all over the place, which I'm sure you know. And that is the reason for the recent clamor by all parts of Nigeria, by eminent Nigerians, that this union is very shaky and there is need for us to shore up the foundations of this union, let's put it that way.
Senate seeks an avenue to make sure peace is restored in all parts of Nigeria, and then they also say all groups seeking to achieve agitation should do through constitutional means.
Precisely.
What does that mean then for all the groups that are, I mean, we've heard from the Southern Leaders of Thought, we've heard from the Southern Leaders Forum, we've heard also from Ohanese, we're hearing also from the Southeast Senators Caucus. What exactly are your colleagues from the North saying?
They're very supportive of the fact that the agitations and all that must be looked into, and they must be looked into, and they're also supportive of the fact that we call on everybody that you should use the constitutional means of doing your agitations, and that nobody is against that. That is why it came out as our communique.
Constitutional means what? Because some people say that the changes that this country needs, the moves that it needs to make to be able to restructure cannot be done through the National Assembly. In fact, some groups believe that we need an entirely new constitution, and as such, that is totally outside the limits of the National Assembly. Precisely.
Let's put it this way, too. There is already a National Assembly in place. There's already a constitution in place. So that means that there are also avenues within the constitution for you to be able to have discussions with various parts and various groups. That is why you have representatives. You understand? Those who say, oh, it cannot be done under this, I think that they probably are also those who have lost faith in Nigeria. I don't think. We believe that there are still possibilities for us to be able to get to where we want to go under this constitution. That is why we also have things called constitutional amendments. If there is an aspect that is not there in the constitution, for example, the only place where there's a referendum in the constitution is when you have a creation of states. But suppose you want a referendum on other things that don't have to do with that, then that means we have to amend the constitution to insert that provision. And once we all agree, then that goes ahead. It's just a question of each and every one of us agreeing that this is the best way forward. And how do you do that? You're going to do it by discussions, by interactions, by deliberations, and by consensus building.